lovely ladies, and this is part 2 of Black Jeans Make Blue Jeans Tight, colon, United Shapes of Africa, roundtable discussion. You know, we don't have a roundtable before we speak. So, that being said, I want to go around and have each of you ladies introduce yourself, where you're from, and then from there, we're going to go into discussion. So let's start over here with Ms. Esther.
Hey, my name is Esther Onono Amola. I am from Africa, particularly Kenya, which is based. My name is Susan Natal. Indigo Fashions, I provide the jackets, and I'm originally from Kenya.
My name is Karen, and I'm from Philly, and I like everybody. Not everybody want to get this stuff, but my name is Krista, and I'm from Germantown.
Germantown where?
Wayne Ave, baby.
Philly, right?
Yeah.
And, you know,
My name is Bethany Ian. I'm from Philly, preferably Northeast Philadelphia, and I'm an artist with a lot to say. I'm Amber, and I'm from West Philadelphia.
just a point of clarification. Esther and Susan, you guys are from Kenya, Africa, and the rest of you ladies are African American or Black American. Right? The audience does not know. The first one we did, most of the ladies were from Africa, and there were 2 that were African American. All right. So now, we were having a discussion earlier, and the topic is Black Jeans Make Blue Jeans Tight, right? And the United Shapes of Africa. So we're doing it, uniting the shapes of Black women around the world, right? But what I'd like to ask you guys is, how do you feel as a Black woman about how the image of Black women has been portrayed in the media in the United States and around the world? Case in point, we spoke about Kim Kardashian and Jennifer Lopez before her being the poster children of the shape that Black women are most widely known for, but not really given credit for, and how it's hard for Black women in the media and in movies with curves and with a darker complexion to actually become the centerpiece of or A-list actress or even a superstar. So let's kick it off. What do you guys feel about that?
It's just a stereotype. Like, and we're the face of Black people that are with, like, we have curves and everything, but they want to make it like other cultures have it, then that's just a stereotype. Like, they try and single us out.
Okay.
Well, I'll say I don't want to lie. I honestly used to believe that I had something special until now they have this whole thing where you can go in and get your lips done and your chest done and get a tan and get your butt done. And it's like everybody wants to be Black, but like nobody can accept being African American. So I feel like you're kind of like raining on our parade, and you want to take what's ours as you have in the past, but you once again don't want to admit to it, and you put it on TV.
I think that if having calves and having a big booty can actually make somebody make millions of dollars and you're not Black, and prior to that, having calves and having a big booty was associated with being Black, then Black women should be able to use those same body parts to be able to make the same kind of money and have the same kind of fame that, let's say, J-Lo or Kim Kardashian has made. But we find that there's this stereotype and there's this mass consciousness where most movies and Hollywood per se would rather have those body parts be in a different kind of skin versus the Black skin. So to me, I feel as though it is time that we educate our community and, you know, let our kids know that you have to appreciate your body just the way it is, and not worry about whether your body is big or whether your chest sticks out and your waist is small and your jeans cannot fit there. And guess what? I'm sure there are people out there who will, you know, make us the right kind of jeans like these. They fit perfect.
Right.
And
dislike the fact that black women get bashed for their shape, but it's also desire. It's like as soon as you put color to this form, it's when it's wrong, and when it's undesirable. It's like you see Michelle Obama has a shape, but she's bashed as opposed to, I'm going to throw out Beyonce, who's glorified for her shape, but she's lighter. She's a lighter complexion. She's got the blonde hair that she's dyed. It's just as soon as you add color to something, the deeper a color is. That's just rude, because a rich color, Africa has rich colors, but that's where it comes from. And as soon as you add that, it's not good.
And I'm glad you brought the topic of color, because I'm from Kenya, and so you can relate to this. You find that, and we have it here in the United States too, where if you're darker, you're considered not as beautiful. And then we have the issue where young girls now start bleaching their skins, and so that they can look lighter. And there's so many things that like we have skin cancer and stuff like that when you bleach your skin, and to just simply look lighter. So why do we teach our children this? Why do we make them think that lighter skin is better? Why?
What do you all feel about lighter skin? Have you ever had a point in your life where you wanted to be lighter? Or you felt like guys didn't like you because you weren't light enough?
Well, I don't think I'm light skinned. I accept being in the middle. And so a lot of people assume me to be, or say that I am light skinned, and they have this perception like, oh, all light skinned girls are conceited, all light skinned girls are stuck up, so sometimes I have to work extra hard just to prove to somebody that I'm really a good person and that I'm just like you, and you don't have to hate me because it's something I had nothing to do with. So that's how I feel about my skin complexion. I think I'm brown skinned. So. That's what I say.
And Kiki, you said during the introduction that when you first came, you thought everybody's going to be stuck up, right? And I know that's probably based off of past experiences, right? So what is it that you, when you walk in a room for other black women that you used to, or black young women, that you are accustomed to experiencing that made you feel that way?
Jealous. Mainly jealous.
Okay.
Because they're all of us, we all look nice, but somebody's going to look at this, well that looks better, and that looks better. One part of your body looks better, or somebody's clothes or anything like that. I feel like it's more pressure on a person with the curves as a black woman. Small, big, it doesn't matter. That's
Okay.
how I feel.
What does that make you feel like you want to do? You want to cover up, or what? I mean, is that pressure, what does it make you
It
feel
makes
like?
you want to be somebody else. That goes as far as we. Girls, we have beautiful hair. We just put weave in there to be, it's competitive. You know what I'm saying? You want to look like the next person, and you're not being yourself. You have somebody else's identity. It's mainly jealousy.
Real talk. I know some of the rest of you got more thoughts. I see everybody think about what you're saying.
No, if I got this long weave, I'm like, oh man.
No, but it's realistic. I mean,
It's convenient. That's all. Because our hair is, you gotta wash it, you gotta blow dry it, you gotta straighten it, you gotta curl it, it's a lot. So
It's very hard to
yeah, and then just being in the world we live in today, like Chris Rock said, when it's nappy, they're not happy. And some of our jobs we work at today, it's like if you go in there with locks or nappy hair, they're not going to really accept you. Even though you accept yourself, they're just not going to accept you. So it is easier to code switch and play that role and just say, okay, you know what, I'm going to just put this bone straight, Remy, what is it, like $100 a peck hair in my head, and maybe you'll accept me the way, I already accept myself. So.
But that's just like filling in with the image, because you want to wear the long hair because white people wear long hair. Yeah, they're better than us. We have to fit in with the workplace because they're better than us, and we want to have a job, so we try and meet that image. So we put in the weave, and we want to be lighter because they're lighter and they're considered beautiful because our skin is, we're dark, so we're not really talk a certain way too. We can't go into a job interview talking about some, yo, this, that, and the third. You have to go in there with your head held high, and you gotta have straight hair and dress like them, and you can't go in there with like, you automatically not getting a job if you go in there with saggy pants. That's a stereotype also, because that's the black person. If you go in there with dress pants and things like that, you're gonna get the job most likely because you fit their image.
So I think as a society, what has happened is that they have, you know, and I say they, meaning that there's this mass consciousness where we all have this pain or this pain body, you know, moving around, where most of us believe that to have a weave makes you better versus having a nappy hair. And actually, in reality, you know, as an African woman, you do need to give your hair a break. There are certain times that, you know, you cannot keep having your hair looking the same way. In the summer, you can't have your hair out because it will fall, it will dry up, and so you have to give it a break, and the way that you can give it a break is by having a weave. Now, granted, the higher ups, which we mainly know, is predominantly a white society, take advantage of that, and you find that the weave business is actually $1 billion industry, and so they perpetuate that. They have in the magazines where you have the long hair, the weaves, that is the most beautiful thing to have. And then the other thing about, you know, going to a job and trying to get a job, looking a certain kind of way. Anybody should be able to get a job if you're dressed clean and your hair is dreadlocked or whatever. But we find that in our society, that as soon as you walk in and have dreadlocks on your hair, there's a stereotype that you're either pot smoking person, or you're lazy. You're probably not going to show up to work. Once you get the job, you will show up. And all these are stereotypes that we as strong black women have to teach our children that, you know, if you want to lock your hair, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And be proud of that. That's who you are. If you want to put a weave in your hair because you want to put a weave in your hair, you can do that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that either. And you shouldn't worry about, you know, looking like the next person. Just be confident with who you are as a person.
Well, I have natural hair, and I don't mind doing it. I take pride in my hair, so I don't mind going through it. I don't do it every day. That's a good thing about black hair. Sometimes it stays, and you can just you don't have to do your hair every day, but I don't mind tussling with it. And even if it's, you know, a little harder to comb through, I don't see a problem with that. Just that's how it is. I also don't see a problem with weave as long as you're getting it because you want to get it. I feel as though black hair is very versatile. You can do so many things with it, which is a good thing. We can just do so many things with it, and I take pride in that too. I don't see it as trying to conform unless that is your main goal, to look like someone else. I do get weaves sometimes, but I don't get it to make myself look like a celebrity I've seen. I don't, that's not what I get it for. I get it sometimes, usually I get in the winter because it's hotter on my back, keeps me warm. It's logical. And as far as jobs go and how you should come into an interview, say, I would go into an interview with my hair like this, and I don't feel as though it should affect me just because my confidence, my credentials, my resume, that's the main point. And why couldn't, say, an African come into a job interview with their take-off on? It's no problem, you know, they look professional, clean cut. It's just the mass, it's like almost an unspoken acceptance to come in with a suit and a tie, which is an American apparel. It's not. Africans didn't have suit and ties until you came over here, and that's what our style is. But you don't have to adopt that. I feel as though you can embrace that and walk into an interview like that as well. But you will get stereotyped, which is a shame.
Somebody could point fingers, oh, look at her hair, oh, she's just, you look African. Then I'm like, how do you know? Sometimes I look at my hands and look at your hair, look at your cheekbones. So I think there's a negative energy. I think people should be more positive and talk more positive stuff and bring each other up instead of bringing each other down.
Well, fortunately, I was educated on Africans, but not everyone, or the African culture, different cultures. Not everyone was as fortunate. So recently I heard a girl who didn't know that Africans had houses. She thought they lived in huts. So her her point of view is that Africans are uncivilized, and that she's like, oh, wait, since when did they have houses? And I'm like, really think that Africans couldn't? We were the first people on earth, you know? Before people came out of their caves, you know, we were building, we had Timbuktu, we started math, like all that good stuff. But she really was uneducated on that. From my point of view, Africans are very strong, intelligent. They're the forerunners. But it all depends on, like, I look at African women as very strong. You know, we have a very strong home base, which African Americans, we really don't have that. We were taken away and broken up and told not to communicate with one another, not to hold on to the little bit of culture that we did salvage. So we lack that kind of home base. And I look at African women as being, you know, blessed to have that, to still be able to connect with your home. And honestly, that's where we come from. I'm not saying that I would bash any other part of me. You know, there's probably European ancestry. You know, I can't change that. There's probably Native American ancestry. I can't change that, so I'm not going to just dislocate myself from it. That is my history. But at the same time, had it not happened, I would be African. I would be that. So I look at you all and I'm very inspired by it. But I feel a connection, but I can never reach it, you know? So not everybody feels that. Like, certain people look at Africans as just being uncivilized, and it's just not true.
And I think it's just a lack of education. Because,
right, definitely.
And as a society, we have failed when it comes to educating, you know, our brothers and sisters, so that we can really understand our roots. You know, if somebody in this modern age asks you, did you come on a boat? And you wonder, really? Did I come on a boat? You know, there are planes, I mean, that we just get on a plane. How could you ask me that? So, you know, I think that, and this is really good because it's mainly women. We bring children into the world. So I think that as mothers, it's our duty to educate our kids. And if you're exposed to something like this, to spread it and to make sure that the children get to be interested in their own heritage, to find out more, to know where did we come from, and what is it about Africa that is, you know, that is where I came from. I want to know more, you know, so that if somebody asks you, like I say, I'm from Kenya, you hear somebody says, oh, where is that, in the Caribbean? So then you're like, wait a minute, you should be able to know that. You should know stuff like that, because this has to do with you, your heritage, where you originally came from.
As an educator, I've found over the years that a lot of African Americans don't know, like Amber said, much about African heritage. And then, to my surprise, I found a lot of Africans have not been taught about the transatlantic slave trade in school. I met folks from Ghana and Nigeria and other parts of West, and they said that in their formal schooling, they were never taught about the transatlantic slave trade. So they would come over here to America and not know what was wrong with black people here. Like, why can't you get this stuff together? Like, they did not realize what black folks with the Africans went through during the slave trade and through the trials and tribulations of being a slave in the United States. So on both sides, there was miseducation and a lack of education, and it was divide and conquer. But in the final analysis, sometimes the issue with African Americans is whether they're African. It gets confusing. Am I really African? Like Amber said, you know, I might have white ancestors, Native Americans, and then sometimes if you're, you know, from Africa, you might say, well, they're not really like us because they're not from here. But at the end of the day, you're all black women.
So I would say I can't really speak on what they might have went through when they got here, because they're from Africa. But I think that's beautiful personally to have that memory of being where, you know, things over here are negative, over there are positive. That's our home. That's technically where we came from. We originated from. So I think that's beautiful that they have come from such a beautiful place and come over here and they're like, what's wrong with us? You know what I mean? So I know when I met, I feel bad for her name, but what's your name? Esther. Okay. When I met Esther, I didn't treat her no differently. I even complimented her accent. I complimented her. She complimented me, and I'm that way with every woman. You know, it doesn't really matter to me. But I just think it's based on ignorance. People are scared of what they don't know, and they don't really want to have an open mind and accept, you know, what they weren't taught. So that's what I think.
That's true. Whatever what you just said, you know, it makes sense. It's true. When you don't have the knowledge, you're just going to be reacting out of either fear, you don't know maybe what to say, and so you will hold back instead of just reaching out and saying something, you know, complimentary to the other person. You'd rather just be quiet.
Right.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, sometimes you don't have the knowledge and you're gonna buy the books and read, but some of the books they write, they're not writing them for us. So we need to step up to the game, start writing books, start giving them to our kids, and not just sit on the passenger side and let somebody else just drive and give us books to read, give us all the information. Some of the stuff they give us is garbage, but we don't know. At the end of the day, we are the ones listening.
So true.
Yeah.
So true. I want to ask you guys, and speak honestly and frankly, if you didn't know that Esther was from Africa, if she didn't tell you, would you have known that?
No.
Would you have known she was from Kenya when you met her? If she,
Only if she spoke.
Or if she didn't
But
speak?
not if she spoke, no.
Okay. I was just curious because, I don't know, maybe this is, you know, 6 or 7 cents, but from my perspective, I just see a group of beautiful black women. And until you go into your history, we don't know. But at the end of the day, the whole world sees you as black women. So they don't know the division, which means that it's prejudice that's formed in the mind once you tell where you're from. So it would be the same if you're from West Philly and you're from Germantown and you're from Northeast. Oh, you from there. But if you met up in New York, you were like, oh, we from Philly, girl, right? But
That's
when you
that
down
divide
here,
and conquer.
right?
Because they see us as black women. Why can't we see ourselves as black women? Because if they can deprive us of certain opportunities, you know, they're going to do that regardless of where we're from. But we're depriving ourselves from certain opportunities because we're judging each other and holding each other back. So that's what I think.
But I think it's all based on what you grew up knowing, because honestly, when I do meet people from other cultures, like if you're from Jamaica or Africa, I automatically do sit there and be like, oh, they're from somewhere else. It doesn't matter if you're black or not. I still do it. I can't help it because of what I've been taught. Honestly.
Well, that's how you are. You say you can't help the way you've been taught.
Not like I'm not judging. It's
Right.
just you just sit there and you be like, oh, they're from somewhere else, even though they're a part of your own skin complexion. It's just still you sit there and you be like, they're from somewhere else. You don't be like, oh, that's my brother, that's my sister. You sit there and you be like, oh, they're from somewhere else.
But you know that you just mentioned skin complexion, and that's one issue. When people talk about racism in America, I often hear people reference Dr. King's I Have a Dream speech, and they talk about, you know, not being judged by the color of your skin, by the content of your character. And when they say that, what they're really implying is that racism is only about skin color, right? But if racism was just about skin color, then all of you wouldn't be shaped the way you are, because you all, as black women, have the curvy shape. You got the hair, the same nappy hair, you know, cheekbones, like you, it's deeper than skin color, obviously. But if we say, well, it's just about skin color, so what, it's you're being judged by something deeper than skin color. It's your genetic and your black genes that make your blue jeans tight are more vast than that. And it's evident in the way that you walk and your swag and the way that you carry yourself. It's a beautiful thing to see Esther come in here and bond with Bethany right off, and people driving by, they just see two beautiful black women. They don't know that you're from Kenya and that you're from Northeast Philly. They just know that they are beautiful black women, and heads were turning.
Yes, they was.
Right?
I'm serious.
People were getting whiplash. I don't know. They could turn their head back straight, right? But so it's deeper than just skin color. We can't say that it's all racism is all about skin color. So there's something deeper going on. So you're being discriminated against because of your shape, your complexion, your hair, and who you are, your rhythm. When black women start to go to a party and dance, they the party. That's a new song, Bethany. Party and party about a black girl, right? So when a black girl starts to dance, so all of that is a part of the mystique and the brand of black women, right? So Esther, you came right over here, and it's the same thing. So it can't be that, well, she's from another country, you speak a different language, you have a different history. But evidently there's something stronger than that to make you connect with these sisters like that.
Because she gonna do it the same thing that we do with coming over here. The only thing is, I feel as though we should, like, how can I say this? We should go to them more. I feel like because they're coming from a different place and they are probably unaware of how things are done over here with the whole racism. They have no idea that, you know, you're treated differently, or somebody may look at you differently, or you give them an application, it's automatically going in the trash. They ask you before you get a job, oh, what are you? Are you any Hispanic in you? You know, personally, I always prefer not to answer, because that has nothing to do with, you know, me getting a job. So.
And I think that is why, as black women, it's very important for us to be able to bond. And you know, instead of us having, like what you were saying, when you see someone from Jamaica or someone from Africa, I think that it's time, really, it is time for us to awaken and to recognize that we are one. Whether your skin shade is a little bit lighter or you're as dark as my jeans, we are one thing. We are all black women, and we need to empower each other. We need to, when I see you and I see something good that you have, I need to be able to say, hey, you look good, I like your shoes, I like your hair, without me having to worry that I'm taking something from you or you're taking something from me. And this way we will empower each other, and we will be able to conquer all these other issues that we have without, you know, having to face all the challenges that we're facing right now. Because think about it, if we, as black women, and there's plenty of black women, we all, you know, just decided that there's no competition anymore. You know, if I see you, I compliment you, and we keep it moving. At work, the other women who have higher positions, they'll pull the other ones who are in lesser positions to do better. Or if you see a single parent, you'll be like, hey, I'll watch your kids, you know, let's strike a deal. You won't be worried about, oh, she's going to go back to school, I won't be able, you know, she's going to be better than me. You won't be worried about stuff like that, because it will be about transformation and empowerment of each other.
At the end of the day, we go through the same problem.
Exactly. Absolutely.
I can't think of a better way to end this conversation. I think we need to end it there. That was beautiful, and it was not a period, but an exclamation point. And I want to thank all of you for your participation. We'll be doing a part 3. Hopefully we're going to be joined by all of the ladies in the first one. And I thank you for helping me celebrate my birthday. I had fun today, and it's been real. It was great.
Happy birthday!